In this video we're gonna talk about how to stay focused and motivated while programming, and also how to take care of your health while sitting in a chair most of the day, which in return will help you stay more focused. So let's start. Remove any distractions and limit yourself only to the task you're doing. Now you want to exclude as many things that distract you as possible. It sounds obvious and you may think that you can control yourself, but trust me, it really helps. Therefore, it is extremely important to set up your environment in such a way that you physically cannot be distracted and that the only thing you can do is the task you have prepared. The biggest factor is your mobile phone. I know you may think, but I could receive an important email or someone could need me or something important could happen. You can tell that person that at that time you will have to work and that you won't be available for a certain amount of time. But it's crucial that you stick to this. I found that mobile phones are the biggest problem because they take you away from the zone. So when you're programming and you're currently learning, doing a course or implementing a feature, you are in a state like a zone. You understand how the code works, where the features can be implemented and how you're going to do that. You have created a plan in your head and then suddenly you receive a text. You take a look and maybe answer it, and before you know, you're out of the zone. Now, let's say it takes you 5 to 10 minutes to get back. If the distraction was small and after you receive another text, the next time it will be even harder to get back. And if you continue like this, hours and hours will pass and you will get zero work done. After you have removed any surroundings that can interrupt you, you should also set up your computer in such a way that it can't distract you so easily. The best approach, in my opinion, is to have two users or operating systems or even computers where you have only work or project related things and the other one is for fun and your daily private activities. This means no social media accounts, no notifications and so on. You could also open a new incognito browser where you can't access anything else. This is especially important for programming because it is an extremely exhausting task and it takes most of your energy, if not all your mind energy to complete. You won't feel this during work, but after you're finished with an 8-hour coding session, you will feel much more exhausted than if you were doing some physical work for the same amount of time. If you follow the rule, you will be able to complete such tasks in much shorter amounts of time. Instead of doing the same thing for 8 hours, you will be able to complete your schedule in, let's say, 3 to 4 hours. The next thing you absolutely have to do is the 20-20-20 rule, which just means that every 20 minutes you should look at an object that is 20 feet or 6 meters away for 20 seconds. The reason for that is that by staring for too long at the screen, you can start blinking less and your eyes become dressed. Your pupils also become larger and eventually you will start developing eyesight problems. You do not have to do it exactly like this, but you should move your attention from the display to something else every 20 or 30 minutes and just stare at a different object to readjust your eyes. Don't underestimate this tip. It will help you a lot in keeping your health and also it will allow you to stay more focused since your eyes won't feel so dry all the time. The next one on the list is especially for me hard, but I noticed that it helps tremendously in staying focused. Do the hard and creative things in the morning. I hate waking up early, but it really helps with clearing up your thoughts. I know many people say that they work the best at night when it's quiet and nothing is disturbing you. But think about the first point we mentioned. If you eliminate the distractions, then you should also be able to do the same work in the morning as well. And if you start really early, then you will again probably be the only person awake. You do not have to do everything in the morning, but from my experience, the best option is to do the hardest tasks in the morning. By hardest, I mean more creative tasks and tasks that take most of your mental energy. If you are learning to code, that could be understanding some new complex concepts or maybe learning the theory behind it. If you are working on a project, you should move the creative tasks or those that require a lot of thinking to the morning. If you create a roadmap of things that should be done, you will find yourself doing the monotone and boring tasks much easier throughout the day. Of course, there are exceptions. If working late at night works best for you, you can stick to that, but for most people the best option is to do the most exhausting part of the day in the morning. For some reason, when you wake up early, you can focus more and don't get distracted that easily. This one is crucial to doing actually good and useful work. Don't try to rush it. What I mean by that is that you should not take any shortcuts, especially when you're learning something new. Let's say you're watching a Udemy course and you become a bit bored because the instructor is talking slow or is talking about irrelevant stuff, so it becomes tempting to either open a new tab, look at your phone, or just skip the part. But by doing this, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. This happened countless times to me. There is always a little detail that you will miss, but that will be important down the road. Also, if you are working on a project and reading through some documentation for a library or code base, you start thinking that you got it. Then you implement something wrong, and after a month it comes back to you and you have no clue how to solve the problem. One thing that also happens often is you're searching for a problem, and even before thinking properly about it, you go to Google and find the same questions on Stack Overflow. You just copy the answer before even checking what it does, and then pray that it works. By doing that, you are losing your focus and you probably don't fully understand what the code you just copied actually does. Another problem with that is that you are not learning how that particular piece of code works, and you will most certainly need that same functionality elsewhere, and therefore you will need to search for the same code again and copy it again. I'm not against using Stack Overflow, don't understand me wrong, it is essential, but try always to think about the problem more, and if you do not find a solution, search online and also try to understand that code. By doing this, you will have more fun and focus during your work. If you fall in that state that you just want to finish everything as fast as possible, you won't be able to concentrate well, and therefore probably you will do a bad job. This brings us to the next one. Do more by doing less. I kind of touched this topic in the beginning. That's an interesting one. Don't measure your output by time, by thinking, okay, I worked 8 hours, this means I have done this much of work. It doesn't work like that. If other factors are not playing to your advantage, you will be less productive, and no matter how much time you're working, you will do less work in the end. What I noticed is if I exclude all distractions and follow the rules I mention, in most cases, but not always, I'm able to do the same amount of work I normally do in 6 hours in, let's say, 3 to 4 hours. It is unbelievable how much time goes wasted by not being focused. But also, do not overestimate this. You can put 12 hours of work into 6 to 8 hours. You can keep this pace for only so long. I wouldn't recommend focused programming without any distractions for more than, let's say, 4 to 5 hours per day at a total maximum. You will feel super exhausted and won't be able to do any work the next day. I know it is tempting to think, oh, but I just have this one more feature that I need to finish, and it will be finished in 30 minutes. But in most cases it will take you more than 30 minutes, it will take you more like 3 hours to finish, and then you will be super exhausted and you basically can't do anything the rest of the day, and most probably you won't be able to do the same kind of work the next day, which is again shooting you in the foot and not doing you any good in the long term. The next one is pretty obvious. You can't implement all of this at once, you need to start small and increase over time. Go in small incremental increases. Try to do this for 30 minutes a day, try to do it for 1 hour a day, 1.5, 2 hours, and when you reach those 4 to 5 hours, stop there and try to keep it at that level. Also, you don't have to do this every time. Some days you can be more relaxed and some days you have to be more productive. But the important thing is, don't start and rush it at once, because it will feel unnatural and we will actually be unmotivated to do it the next day. And if you develop this mindset that I hate doing this because I have to be like this, then you will eventually start hating your job and work, which in return won't do you any good. This brings us to the end of the video. I hope this video helped you and taught you some tricks how to stay more focused while programming. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with what I just said. I am really curious what you think about this. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You can also check out my newsletter in the description or just wait a few seconds to see it on the screen. Bye, see you next time.